Hey, what's up guys? Hope you're doing well and welcome back to another video on my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about the best free editing software that I've been using for quite some time. Hope you guys enjoy, don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's get started. So the software I'm going to be talking about in this video is DaVinci Resolve. So DaVinci Resolve is a cross-platform video editing software, meaning it works on different operating systems. It works on Windows, the one I'm currently using, Linux and macOS. Now, people generally use on Windows Premiere Pro or Sony Vegas. On Linux, I don't know any other software. So if you're searching for a video editing program, you can go ahead and install DaVinci Resolve. And on macOS, there is Final Cut Pro X. I don't know anything about that program because I've never used it, but if you find this interesting, you can give it a go. So now I'm going to talk about why I switched to this software. Well, basically, in the past, I've used Premiere Pro and Sony Vegas, but I've got myself a new computer and I wanted to reinstall a software. So the first one I went with is Premiere Pro. I've used Premiere Pro for quite some time, but for some reason I had a lot of issues. Those were linked with performance and stability. A lot of times my program would crash for literally no reason, even though I wasn't doing something intensive, and sometimes the playback would just lag a lot if I just added a simple effect. Same went for Sony Vegas, but even worse. Now, you may think, yeah, this is hardware issues. You can check in the description of this video my hardware, and it's not that bad. Like, it's medium end to high end, something like this. And the thing is, with Sony Vegas, even with a simple cut, the program will literally freeze or just the preview will be really laggy. And what I've seen on the internet is that Premiere Pro and Sony Vegas are CPU intensive. And on DaVinci Resolve, it mainly uses the GPU. I mean, it's like 50-50 if I'm correct me if I'm wrong, but what I know is on Premiere Pro and Sony Vegas, the GPU isn't used that much. So I just came across this software, and now I'm going to be honest with you, the first time I saw it, I thought it's going to be really crap. Like, I don't know, the UI wasn't really appealing, but once you get into it, you're going to see that it's pretty good. Now, you have to learn a bit about it, even though you're coming from Premiere Pro or other softwares. What is pretty cool is if you go right here, click on DaVinci Resolve, go into keyboard customization, you have different presets. Now I created my own preset, but you can use an Adobe Premiere Pro preset, Final Cut Pro X, and there is no Sony Vegas preset, but you can go ahead and make your own. And I think this is pretty good if you want to switch from one software to another. Now the next thing I'm going to talk about is the support for two screens. I know on Premiere Pro and Sony Vegas, you have a preview on the second screen, but right here you have a preview on the second screen, but also a toolbox with effects, a smart bin, and an audio mixer. So this is the first screen. As you can see, we cannot visualize our clip. So let me go into OBS and toggle the second screen. And there we go. This is the second screen. As you can see, there is the volume mixer right here. We have all our clips and the effects. And my levels of productivity really increased because it's so easy to use when you have two monitors. Now, when you have only one, it's a bit more complicated, but it's exactly the same thing because most of these things are going to be stacked into only one screen, while here it's very clean. And also, as you can see, it's full screen and it's not wasting any space. So I think this is pretty good. Now let's talk about the effects a bit. We have some video transitions. As you can see, there are plenty of them. There is an additive dissolve, and you can also see a preview when you hover this. You can see the blur dissolve, and the cross dissolve, dip to cross dissolve, and plenty of others. Audio transitions as well, titles, generators, and of course you can also add some third-party effects. I don't know if you're using Sapphire or other effects. I have no idea how to import them because I did a long time ago, but you can just search on the internet and you're going to find out. Some open effects that came with the software, other blurs, and yeah, as you can see, other audio effects as well. Now I just searched DaVinci Resolve on the internet, and as you can see, it was published in 2009. And as you can see, there are two different teams of developers, Blackmagic Design and DaVinci Systems. Now if you go ahead and click on this link, you're going to see a lot of things that this software will allow you to do. The main thing that people use this software for is color grading. But as you can see here, we have some examples. We can see an effect panel, some color grading stuff, Hollywood's #1 post-production. Just look at this hardware. Just this guy is the sound engineer, I guess. These two are editing. This guy is color grading. And yeah, it's pretty advanced software, but I mainly used this software for basic editing and it works pretty well. And if you want to download the software, you can just go ahead and click on download now. As you can see, the software is free. Now let's go ahead and see all the workspaces. Now the main workspace I'm mainly using is edit, and it's this one. The first one is media. So as you can see, we have some graphs, histogram, waveform. I don't know what these are. And as I told you, I'm using 2 monitors. So there is something on the first screen and there is something on the second one. On the second one, I have all my clips and my drives. So let me show you. So this is the second screen. Let's move on to cut, which is a pretty basic one. I actually never use this. I might use it in the future. Now, one thing is, what you see right now might vary from a computer to another. Now, I customized my software a lot, and if you only have one screen, for example, if I go to the next one, which is Fusion, you're not going to see the same layout. The software is going to be exactly the same. But as I told you, having 2 monitors will increase your productivity. Now, what is this section? I don't actually use it a lot. Basically, you can just go ahead and right click into any blank space, go into add tool, and let's, for example, put 3D. I don't know what this is. Fog 3D, and take this, put it right here if it wants to, and it doesn't actually want to. It actually doesn't work. Let's try another one. Add tool and blur, for example. Just put some soft blur. So yeah, as you can see, there is some blur on our clip. The next workspace is color, which totally blows my mind. Now, I actually use this a bit. For example, let's actually go back to Fusion because I want to delete this effect. So what I usually do in here is I increase a bit the gamma with this slider. Why do I do this? Basically, I have some brightness settings on my monitor, and when I export my videos, if I watch them on my phone, I'm going to notice that they're very dark because I cannot spot the difference. So I'm just increasing the gamma a bit. You can also add some saturation. This is some brightness, I guess. The saturation is right here. If you want to make your clips more vibrant, you can also use this color boost. I have no idea what this graph is. And as I'm using 2 monitors, there is something else on the second screen, and we also have some keyframes. So let me show you. So as you can see, we have these graphs again, keyframes, and our clip, I guess. So the next workspace is flare lights. So let me show you. Everything in here is about audio. If you want to add some effects, EQ, compression. Now in here we have our audio tracks. There are only 2 because I only have 2 tracks. And let me show you on the second screen because this is where it's interesting. So in here we can add different effects. Vocal channel, we can add some EQ if we want, for example, to boost the lows. If you're not into EQing and you have no idea how it works, you don't really need to use it. Dynamics, which is everything from expanders, limiters, compression. It's mainly compression. We also have a sidechain. What else? Pan. So this is if you want to play with the sound from left to right in the headphones. We also have front to back, and to be honest with you, I only used this one time because I wanted to add some EQ on my microphone. But I guess that was pretty much it. And the final section is the deliver section. And this section is pretty easy to use, and the time is really low compared to the other editing softwares. I usually put the formats to MP4, leave the codec to H.264, put the encoder to NVIDIA if you have an NVIDIA graphics card, of course. And what I usually do is change the resolution to 1440p. I just upscale this so that I have the best compression on YouTube. I made a video about the YouTube compression in the description. Basically, if you upload this to 1080p, for example, if you upload some gaming stuff on YouTube with the default settings and you have a small channel, you're going to see a lot of pixelation. So make sure to check the video in the description. So this is what I usually do, and you can also directly use some settings in here, but in my case I don't use them. The location, you can choose whatever you want. And one final thing I wanted to talk about is if you go in here and go into preferences, you can go into internet accounts and you can sign in with YouTube. So you can just go ahead and add your render queue, and automatically when it's rendered, it's going to upload this on YouTube. And you can also add a description. Most of the times if you do this, I recommend you to put the video in unlisted mode, and then you can just add a thumbnail, add some tags, and yeah, that's pretty much it, I guess. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you have any questions, don't forget to write them down below. See you in the next one. Goodbye.